Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our webinar this morning. We're delighted to have you all with us. My name is Liz Woodham, and I'm a member of the NRICH team based here in Cambridge. And I'm delighted to be joined by two of my colleagues from NRICH, and that's Claire and Charlie. Hi, Claire. Hi, Charlie. Welcome to you all. Just to let you know, we're going to be working on a few of our favourite problems this morning to get you thinking mathematically and exploring mathematics. If at any time you have a question or a concern, please, adults, if you would email events@maths.org if there's anything that concerns you. There will be times during the session where we're going to be asking you to participate using the chat. At the moment, you won't be able to, but it will be turned on at various points, and we'll make that very clear when we'd like you to contribute your thoughts. So without further ado, let's do some mathematics this morning. Charlie, as I said, we've chosen 3 tasks, haven't we? 3 activities that are some of our favourites, and they're all from the NRICH website, and which is completely free to access. You literally just need the web address, and we will make sure that we give you the URLs at various points so that you'll be able to find them for yourselves. Charlie, the first task we're going to have a look at together is called Less is More, and I think you're going to share your screen. And we're going to introduce the task together. Brilliant.
Okay, so can you hear me all right?
Yep, loud and clear, thank you.
Okay, so we've got 8 boxes there. I've got a dice, and we're going to throw the dice 8 times and decide where to put the score each time. So we can fill the boxes in any order we like. And the challenge is to make sure that we satisfy the criteria given by this smaller than sign. So a lot of people are used to know what an equal sign means. We are using that sign here, which means that the number on the 2-digit number that we're going to have on the left is got to be smaller than the 2-digit number on the right. And I think the way that I think of it is perhaps I imagine there's a very little small gap where the 2 lines meet here, and it's very small, so this is a tiny gap here, whereas here we've got an enormous large gap. So the way that I think about it when I look at that sign is that the number on the right has got to be large, the number on the left has got to be smaller. And of course, one can have the sign that way round. We're not going to be using the sign that way round today, but when you do have that, then of course it's the large number on the left and the tiny number on the right. Okay, so Liz, I'm going to throw the dice 8 times. Perhaps you can tell me where you would like me to put the scores. And the challenge is, can you do it in such a way that the 2-digit number on the left at the top is smaller than the 2-digit number on the right at the top? The 2-digit number on the left at the bottom is smaller than the 2-digit number at the bottom on the right.
Okay, yep, got it, Charlie. Right, go on then. First digit.
So you've got a 2.
Okay, I'm going to put my 2. I think I'm going to put my 2. Could you put it in the tens column, Charlie, of the top left box, please? Yes, that exactly.
So we've got units and tens.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put a 2 here. I'm going to change my mind, Liz.
Oh.
And I'm going to ask you just to fill the top sentence first, and then we'll do the bottom.
All right, fine. Yeah, I can adapt.
Okay, go for it.
I need another number, please.
Oh, sorry. 4.
Oh, 4. Okay. Oh well, I might put the 4 then in the tens of the right hand 2-digit number at the top there, Charlie, please. Yes.
Why did you do that?
Well, because I know I'm going to have 20 something on the left, and if I've got a 4 and I put that as tens, that's 40 something, 4 tens. So I know now that actually my number sentence is going to be correct, whatever the next 2 numbers are that I roll.
Okay, far away. There's a 5.
Okay, let's make 25, please.
Okay.
That's nice because it's NRICH's 25th anniversary, Charlie, which we'll come back to. So I thought I'd link that. And 2. Okay, so 42.
I'm too young to know about its 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
Okay, the reason I thought I might get you to the first sentence separate the second one is some people like using a 10-sided dice.
Yeah.
So with the numbers 0 to 9, I haven't got hold of a 10-sided dice, but instead I've got some digit cards here.
Oh, great.
With all the digits from 0 to 9, some upside down. So I've shuffled them before. And I'm
I guess using 0 to 9 is a bit more realistic, isn't it? Because then we can cover the whole all place value. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great.
So I've just turned them around and I'm going to okay, so the first one is 7. Okay, so now you need to think a bit differently because we had 1 to 6 before, now you've got 0 to 9.
Yeah, okay, thank you for the reminder. I reckon 7's pretty high, so I reckon I'm going to put that in the tens column of the right hand 2-digit number, Charlie.
Yeah?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so you're expecting to get a 70 something.
I am.
You're expecting to be able to get something smaller later on.
I am.
Okay, so we've not used that. Aha, you're in luck.
5. Oh, brilliant. Well, I may as well straight away put that as the tens for your left hand 2-digit number, because then, like the situation we had before, I know now that I'm going to be all right.
Okay, the next one's a 2.
Okay, let's have 52.
And the last one is, I think this is supposed to be a 6.
I think it is. I think our 9's got straight sort of edges, haven't they?
They do.
Okay, so 76. Brilliant. Yeah.
Okay. Now, in a minute, we're going to play a game, Liz.
Yes.
So I've got this ready because you're going to get a chance to decide where the 8 numbers go, and I'm going to be able to place the 8 numbers somewhere differently.
Okay.
And like you've just shown, it's relatively easy to get sort of, I'm going to call these sentences that are correct. So let me tell you how the scoring goes.
Oh, you didn't mention any scoring.
No, we weren't scoring this time.
Okay.
So the scoring is, if the sentence is correct, and your 2 sentences are correct, the score is the total of the 2 numbers on the left. So it's a 25 and the 52. And so your total score is 77.
Okay, right, that's interesting. Okay, so that might make me think a little bit differently as I play the game again then.
Yes, you want that number to be as big as possible.
But I still have to make the number sentences correct.
Yes, and if you'd made it, if you make the number on the left too big, you may find that you can't find a number on the right.
Okay, then go on. Let's have a go.
So, but before we do that, Liz, I'm just I'm going to write down what the numbers were that we got on our dice. I think we got 3 2s.
Yes.
Then we also have a 4, 2 5s, a 6 and a 7.
Yes. Okay. Is that right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, that's 8. Okay.
So I want to make sure that you understand the scoring rules. So I'm going to ask you, if you knew that those were going to be the 8 numbers, and you could put them in any order.
Yes.
What's the maximum total you think that you could get?
Oh, that's a great challenge. Okay, so I've got to use those 8 digits that we threw, but we're trying to get those 2 left-hand 2-digit numbers to be as high as possible, still with the inequalities correct. Okay, so those of you watching and participating today, we'd like you to have a little go at this. And so now is a chance for you to have a little think. Where do you think, if we'd have known that we were going to roll these 8 digits and we now know the scoring system, where could we place these 8 digits in our grid so that we get the maximum score, but also have our inequalities correct? Let's have a few minutes thinking about that, and we will open up the chat for you so that you can contribute your ideas. Perhaps what you could do is give us the total you have managed to make. Don't give us any more information. What total have you managed to make? Okay, if you have got a question and it's about this task, now that we're going to open up the chat, perhaps you could pop your question in the chat and we'll do our best to answer. Okay, so a few minutes to have a go. So the 8 digits we've got there must be used once each to fill those 8 boxes. I hope that's clear. Thank you, those of you who are contributing. We don't have consensus, which is interesting. A few more minutes.
Some people are managing to get totals which are higher than the one that I've got. So I'm going to have to go back and think again.
And don't forget that the inequalities, those number sentences, must still be true. And we're making the total of the 2 left-hand 2-digit numbers. You can see hopefully where the way that Charlie has annotated the sheet there is drawn on the sheet, which 2 numbers we're adding together. Let's have one more minute. If anybody has posted a number that's higher than the number that you thought, why not go back and just double check that, that you're happy with your suggestion? So the numbers that have to be maximum, what we're trying to do, just to reiterate, is, Charlie, would you mind using your pencil or something and pointing on your sheet of paper, just to remind everybody which totals, which numbers are we trying to make as big as possible, but we're still wanting the inequality to be correct. Okay.
So the numbers on the left have got to be smaller than the numbers on the right.
Okay. Okay, Charlie, shall we have a little chat?
Okay.
We've had various suggestions here. I can see somebody has put 120, for example. I can see 114, 107, 106. We're definitely not agreed here. How did you approach this, Charlie?
Well, to get the largest possible total, which is going to be the score I get from adding these two, I want the largest possible numbers in the tens column.
Right.
Now, I can't use a 7 here, because if I put a 70 here, it's going to be smaller, because I'm not going to be able to get something. So I decided I had to put the 7 there.
Okay, absolutely. I like that. I like that reasoning, Charlie. You can't put the 7 in the tens on the left because we don't have anything higher than a 7. So we wouldn't be able to make that inequality correct. Yeah, okay.
But the nice thing about putting a 7 there is I can then put a 6 here.
Right.
And so that's almost as big a number as I can get in the tens column. I can't get a 70s, but at least I can get a 60s. So that's going to contribute to a big score.
Nice.
And then I looked at the next two biggest numbers, and there were 5s. So that was great, because I could then have a 50 there and a 50 here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
As long as the 50 on the right was bigger than the 50 on the left, I'd be okay.
So what digits are we left with, Charlie, then? Can we do that?
Just the 2s and 1 4.
Ah.
So that was great, because I could put the 4 there and a 2 there.
Yes.
And it meant that the difference between the 50s was small, but it made the sentence correct. And then I just stuck the last 2 2s in the top row. And I knew that was going to be right, so that was fine. And so I got 114 as my score. 62 plus 52 is 114. And a lot of people also got 114. Yeah. I think it was possibly the most popular one.
Yeah.
So if anybody in the chat thinks that they can do better than me, because I haven't checked, Liz, whether you've done any better than me, but that's what I did. If anybody in the chat thinks they can do better, I'm very happy for them to tell me what numbers went into their center, into their rows.
I happen to agree with you, Charlie, and I used very similar reasoning to you. I started with my tens digits, and then I was very relieved at the end when I did have a larger number to put into the units in that bottom number sentence. So far, nobody's posted a number higher than 114. Okay. No.
Okay.
All right. So I think, Charlie, what we will do at this point now, we hope we've given you a flavour for the task. I wonder, Charlie, do we want to have a go at this, or should we move on to the next game so that we have time to play something else?
I'm worried we may not have time to do this. So, but okay, so if anybody who's participating today wants to have a go at this game, so you can do it with dice, but you've only got the numbers 1 to 6. You can use number cards like we did if you want to use digits 0 to 9. And Liz, you're going to show everybody a sort of interactive 0 to 9 spinner in a minute.
That's right.
And so we would imagine that you would need a grid like this, a score, and then, for example, if somebody throws a dice and gets a 2, then we'd have to make a decision. And Liz, you might decide you want to put your 2 there, and I might decide, oh, I'm going to play safe, and I'm going to put my 2 here in the tens column, because that almost guarantees. And so you throw the dice 8 times, and you make a decision about where you were going to put your numbers, and I make a different decision perhaps, and then we add our scores. And of course, the person who wins is the one who gets the highest score. So there'll be a chance, people will need to decide how much risk they take, how prepared they are to hope. Anyway, yes, so there's a bit of probabilistic thinking there.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm going to stop sharing.
Thanks, Charlie.
I think Claire has put in the chat a link to the interactive dice, and perhaps you want to show everybody.
Yes, great. I'll share, as Charlie says, I'm going to share my screen now. And the first thing I'll share with you is the this interactive dice and spinners that Charlie just mentioned. Claire's popped the link into the chat. The crucial thing that you might want to know is that if you click on the purple cog in the top right hand corner, you can change the settings so that you could have you can change the range of numbers on your dice. You can alternatively have a spinner or more than one spinners, and you can show dice dots or dice digits, dice numbers, numerals. So we just wanted to share that with you briefly because you may not have a 0 to 9 dice at home. All right, Charlie, are you ready for another task? Yes. Let's have a little go. The next activity we'd like to share with you is this one here, which is called Seeing Squares. This is
Perhaps we should mention, Liz, that at the end of today, we're going to share the links to the 3 problems that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
So everybody will be able to access the NRICH version of Less is More that we've just played, and this one and the next one. So people don't need to worry about where they're going to find that.
Yeah, very good point. Thanks, Charlie, for the reminder. Okay, here is the dotted grid. I'm going to make the grid a little bit bigger by using this arrow at the top here. There we go. So we've got 6 dots by 6 dots. So Charlie, I think we're going to play a game, and we're going to use the computer interactivity, but we'll introduce the game by playing against each other on screen so people get an idea of what to do. So I need to click up here where it says 2 player. Charlie, would you like to go first in the game? You're smiling at me.
Well, there always seems to be an advantage to going first.
Well, I'm feeling generous this morning, Charlie. So, you know, take it while it's on offer. Okay. In this game, we're going to take it in turns to choose a spot on the grid. And the idea is that we're trying to get 4 of our own spots to make the corners of a square. It's much easier to get the idea as you watch us play rather than worrying too much about what I've said. Charlie, let's have a go, and then I think people will get the idea. Over to you.
So it says that player A's turn at the top, and there's a blue background, so I'm assuming that I'm going to be player A, and I think the dots are going to be blue. So, okay, so if you start in the bottom left-hand corner, and you count 4 steps across.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, I was,
yeah. Oh, did you mean steps as opposed to dots, Charlie?
I meant steps, yes, please.
Beg your pardon, so that's here.
And then 2 steps up.
2 steps up, this one here.
I'll choose that dot.
Okay, great. So yes, you're right, you're blue. So now it's my turn, and I'm going to go, I think I might go here. So 1, 2, 3 steps up, 3 steps along, 3 steps up, here.
And you're going to be red. Okay, so I've got to remember, I need 4 blue dots to be the corners of a square.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter where any other colour dots are, but it's the corners that you're looking at, crucially.
Okay, so starting in the bottom left-hand corner, if you go 2 steps across and 2 steps up, I'll go for that point there.
Okay, nice. All right, I think I might go perhaps up this one. There we go. So that was 2 to the right, and 1, 2, 3, 4 up.
Okay, so perhaps you'd guess what I was trying to do.
Well, I had a sneaky suspicion.
Okay, I tell you what I'll do. I'll go 4 across and stay on the bottom.
4, and here?
Yes.
Ooh, I can see what you're up to. I'm going to go here, 2 along, and stay on the bottom to stop you getting this square here.
Okay. I'll go 1, 2, 3 across, and then right to the top.
1, 2, 3, and right to the top, up here. Okay. Ooh, right. I'm going to go. I might try going here, I think. So 1, 3, and 2. There you go. Your turn.
I'll go all the way to the right and then 3 up.
This one here. Okay. I keep worrying that you've got something planned that I haven't spotted.
I wish I did have something planned.
Okay, I think I'm going to go 2 along and maybe, no, I think I'm going 1 along and 1 up. I'm going to go here. I think you have to be quite careful, Charlie, now. I think I might be able to win on my next turn. I wonder if anybody could help Charlie. I think he needs a bit of help. Can you see where I might be able to win? Perhaps you could post in the chat if we could open the chat to everybody. Thank you. Where does Charlie need to go in order to stop me? Some people are being very honest and saying that they're not sure at the moment. Okay. Shall I just, probably the best way to try to describe it, if you start like Charlie and I were trying to do, if this left-hand corner is your starting point, and if you tell us how many steps along, so for example, this red circle here would be 1, 2 along and none up, 0 up, as an example. Or if I wanted to choose this spot, I could say 1 along and 1, 2 up. Okay. So
I'm getting lots of conflicting advice, Liz.
You are getting lots of conflicting advice. It's interesting, isn't it? 3 across, 1 up, somebody said. I'm not sure how I could have got a square with that one. I can't see a square there. 4 across, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 up, 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure that would have given me a square. So what I'm saying is, I think on my next turn, so on red's next turn, I think I could put in the 4th corner of a square. So I've already got 3 corners that are making a square. Can you see where that is? Can you see where Charlie really needs to go next in order to block me?
I think 1 or 2 people, I think somebody called Alex perhaps has got the right answer.
And somebody called Toby maybe as well. Yeah.
I think I'm going to let you win this so that everybody can see.
Okay.
Where, so I...
Go on then, Charlie, your turn.
I think I could stop you because I think Alice, for example, just now has given me the right advice. But I think it'd be quite nice for everybody to see.
Good idea.
So
go on then, where would you like to go?
I'm just going to go for far right, 2 up.
This one here.
Yes.
Okay.
Just in case you make a mistake, I'll be able to win.
So I think that, as some of you have said, I think if I go just 1, 2, 3 up, I think I'm going to make a square. Just before I click on that, have a good look at the grid. Can you picture, can you visualize where that square is? That's one of the corners. Ooh. Are you happy that that is a square, Charlie?
Let me see whether I can scribble on this. Am I allowed to annotate? Yes, I think I am.
Okay, yeah.
Let me draw here.
I like the reactions coming in on the chat.
What are people saying?
We've had a great comment, Charlie, which we need to pick up in a minute. Somebody's wondering whether this is a diamond and not a square. We will come to that. We'll come to that.
Okay, so I need to convince myself of two things, Liz, to convince myself that this is a square.
Yeah.
Are those pink lines all the same length?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So that's one thing. Yeah.
And are the angles all 90 degrees? Because
Yes.
some
Yeah.
people think of a diamond as having 4 equal sides, but not necessarily 4 equal angles.
No.
Okay, so what I've done is I've enclosed your pink square with this blue square. And you can see that, so I've got a, what I'm gonna call it a 1x2 right angle triangle. So I've got a right angle triangle at every corner, and one of the two perpendicular lines are of length 1 and length 2, and therefore the longest side of these right angle triangles will be identical, because I've got 4 identical triangles. I could pick one up and put it on top of the other. The fancy word is that they're congruent. So that's okay. So that convinces me that the 4 pink lines are the same length.
Yes.
I've got to convince myself that the
angles are 90 degrees. How are you going to do that, Charlie? How can we, and as you're listening at home, as you're watching at home, think about this yourself. Charlie's going to talk through one particular way, but maybe you can think of another way that you could prove that these are 90-degree angles. Okay, Charlie, sorry to interrupt.
Okay, no, so I know that the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees.
Yes.
And so if I take this one as my starting point, I can see that I'm going to call this angle X here. Oops, I'm not very good at writing here.
That's okay. We can see that's an X. Yeah. Okay, that's an angle X. Okay.
And that's sort of like at the pointy, at the slightly more pointy end of the triangle. Yeah. So I think this angle here would be the same.
Yes.
This would also be X.
That would be X as well. Yeah.
And this one. So this is where the two longest sides of the triangle meet. So yeah, absolutely. That's the longest. And then I'm going to call this angle Y.
Okay. So the other one is angle Y.
So this one's slightly bigger than. I don't know why it stopped drawing. Okay.
Yeah, so angle Y is the angle which is made by the shortest side and the longest side of the triangle. Yeah. Yep. And so they're all the same because we know those 4 triangles are identical. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So now. Yeah. I know that the angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees.
Yes.
So if I take this angle, the angle inside this shape, and this angle, I know they add up to 180 degrees.
Yes.
But I also know the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees.
Yes.
Now, I've already got a 90-degree angle in the corner, so I know that X and Y must also add up to 90. So
yes,
I've got
because together they make 180. Right.
So if X and Y add up to 90,
yes,
and all these add up to 180, then this must be 90 as well.
How nice. What lovely reasoning.
And so this must be 90 because
that must be 90.
X plus Y is 90 plus another 90 gives us
the
180
on the straight line.
Same here. We've got X and Y plus 90. And so now I've convinced myself that that must be a square. I've got 4 equal sides and I've got 4 equal angles.
Thank you, Charlie. That's really helpful. I'm really glad that somebody mentioned a diamond. In everyday language, everyday talk, you might hear people talking about a diamond shape. Now, I have this mantra that diamonds are only for jewelry and not for maths. And I can guarantee you that if you're looking at a 4-sided shape with straight sides, so a 4-sided polygon, and you're tempted to call it a diamond, I guarantee that there will be a more mathematical name. You might find, as Charlie's just shown, that it's a square if the 4 sides are the same length and there are 90-degree angles. If there are 4 sides the same length, but we don't have 90-degree angles, then we might be able to call that a different name. You might have come across a rhombus, for example. Sometimes you might see a mathematical kite and be tempted to call it a diamond. So if you're tempted to call a four-sided shape a diamond, try and stop yourself and just look carefully at the properties of the shape and think about the mathematical name. We hope that you will enjoy playing this game. Now, although Charlie and I have played together against each other on the screen, I just want to draw your attention to the fact that you can play this game against the computer. And I really would encourage you to do that. So instead of the two-player game, if you click one player, yeah, you've still got that marking. So don't just ignore Charlie's annotations there. But you can then play against the computer. And your challenge that we're leaving you with is to have a go against the computer. Can you beat the computer at this game? It is not easy. You could obviously play around with the size of the grid as well, and that might make a difference.
How big does the grid get, Liz?
Good question. Let me try. If I go. Okay, that's the biggest we've got there. So we're how many? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 dots. So an 8 by 8 square grid, I guess we've got there.
I lose against the computer more often than I beat the computer.
It's very difficult. Yeah. The computer plays extremely strategically. So your challenge after today is to really think about the strategy. Can you find a way to beat the computer and indeed, therefore, anybody that you played with away from the computer? Charlie, we've got one final game to share with everybody before we go. Is there anything that you'd like to say about the Seeing Squares game?
No, but the good news is in the final game, it is much more likely that everyone's going to be able to find a strategy and be able to beat the computer on a regular basis.
Yes. So I mentioned in passing in our first task that we're currently celebrating 25 years of NRICH. It's our 25th birthday. And we've, in honour of this celebratory event, we've created a special version of one of our favourite games, which is called Got It. This also has an interactivity, which I'm hoping you can see on the screen here. Charlie and I are going to show you how to play. We're going to play against each other to start with, so you get the idea, and then we're going to leave you to have a think. So I'm going to just click on the settings here. We're going to play a human opponent. We're going to stick with the rest of the settings. There we go. Okay, so Charlie, would you like to go first again?
Well, I went first last time and I lost, so I'll let you go first this time.
Okay, well, that's kind of you. Right, I'm going to start with a 1.
So I can now use any of those 5 numbers.
You can use any number. Sorry, I didn't even explain the rules of the game, did I? That was very remiss. I'm so used to this game. You've got 5 numbers to choose from. I chose a 1, and so you can see that the 1 has appeared in this total circle. It's now up to you to choose any of those 5 numbers, and your choice will be added onto my 1. So we'll get a new total. And we're trying to be the player to get exactly to the target of 25.
Okay. We're quite far away, so I'll go for a 5.
Okay, so that makes 6. All right, I'm going to add a 2. So now we're on 8. Your turn.
Okay, so the total, we just go accumulating.
That's right.
Your number and my number.
That's right.
Okay, I like even numbers, so let's go for 4.
Okay, that's made 12. All right, I'm going to add, I don't know. Let me add a 5. Okay, we've got 17. You'll go, Charlie.
Okay. I'll carry on with even numbers. I'll go for 2.
That makes 19. Now that's pretty close to 25.
I think you're in trouble, Liz.
You may be right. Claire, could you open the chat again, please? And perhaps those of you at home, can you explain? What do you think? Am I in trouble? Will Charlie definitely win? How do you know?
I'm getting my revenge for the previous game, Liz. Yeah, so a lot of people are saying that I'm going to win. Can they explain why Liz is in trouble?
Nice. I think a couple of people, Charlie, have picked up that
you have no hope.
That I have no hope in many ways, but in particular in this game. Some people are saying that the difference now is 6. So if I want to win now, I'd need a 6, but I haven't got a 6. My choice of numbers only goes up to 5. And a few people have listed some possible options about what I could do. So, for example, Charlie, if I chose 1, that would take the total up to 20. And I imagine you would choose 5?
I'm afraid I would.
Right. But if I chose 2,
I'll choose 4.
Right. If I chose 3,
I'll also choose 3.
If I chose 4,
then I'd choose 2.
And if I chose 5,
I'd have no option but to choose 1.
Exactly. So thank you. Those of you have recognized there's this gap of 6, which I can't do anything about. I don't have a 6 and it's my turn. But because it's just 1 more than the number that we have got as our highest number to choose from, whatever I choose, Charlie is guaranteed to be able to win. So I'll let you have the satisfaction.
I'm going to piggyback on your number, I think.
Okay, I'll choose 3. That takes our total to 22. Charlie?
I'll go for 3.
Yeah. There we go. And it tells us that blue wins. So Charlie wins. So we just wanted to give you a flavour for this game. It's such a great game to get the feel of. Now, Charlie, although, you know, I have to say that I did let you win, I think I do have a strategy for winning this game. I think we've got time for maybe 1 more, so I can get a little bit of friendly revenge on you. Just to make you think a bit harder, though, I'm actually going to change the settings a bit. Let's click on the purple cog. We'll play against each other still, but why don't we have a different target number? I don't know. Let's choose 23, for example, shall we? So we're still going to have the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay.
Why don't we change those as well, Liz?
Oh, okay then. All right, go on then. You've persuaded me. I can cope with that. What would you like to change it to? So we can. Am I
going to be able to decide whether I go first or not?
No.
Okay, so you're going to go first. Okay. Yeah.
Charlie's thinking hard here. Can you hear us, everybody?
I'm not sure I want you to have a target of 23, though. Okay.
Go on then. I'll be generous. If you'd like to change the target as well, go on. I'll let you.
Okay. Let's have a target of 30.
Okay, target of 30. And would you like to stick with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5?
No, I'll go for numbers 1 to 9, please.
1 to 9. Okay. All right. Okay. And are we? Am I allowed to go first?
You're allowed to go first.
Okay. I think I might choose 3 to start with. Your turn.
I'll choose 7.
Okay. I'm going to choose 3.
I'll choose 7.
Interesting. I'm going to choose 3. Oh,
I'm going to choose 7.
Do you know, I was thinking in my head it was still 23, the target. Could you read? Oh no! Charlie wins. Charlie wins. Well done, Charlie. Well done. Charlie clearly had a plan, and even though I thought I had a plan, I made a big mistake. So unfortunately, we've run out of time now for this webinar. We hope that you have enjoyed having a little go at the 3 tasks we've introduced you to. Don't forget that you can also play the computer at This Game Got It just by clicking on the purple setting, and instead of human, you just click computer there.
There are some nice questions at the bottom of the interactivity for
there
people
are.
to think about.
Absolutely. Thank you, Charlie, for reminding us about that. So think about how you can, once you think you can win with a particular target number and a particular range of numbers, then do think about what would happen. How would you need to adapt your strategy for a different target, for a different range of numbers? Can you articulate how you could win at this game, no matter what the target number and no matter what the range of numbers from 1 to n? And there's a really challenging question at the bottom there for you to have a think about too, should you wish. Thank you all very much. I'm sorry we've run very slightly over. I think Claire has been very kindly posting things in the chat, but if you would like to be reminded about all these tasks, all you need to do is go to our festival page that we set up, which is nrich.maths.org/CF Cambridge Festival 2022. And there you'll find links here to the 3 problems we've had a go at, and you can also have a little look at what will be done in our next webinar where we're working with slightly older children.
And we've also added links to a few more problems which are similar to the ones that we've been introducing today.
Yeah. And finally, it would really help us if those of you, if perhaps adults there with your child, you could perhaps fill in the evaluation form for us. Claire has very kindly posted a link to it, and it just makes sure that we can do as good a job as possible in this kind of event. We hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and enjoy any other Cambridge Festival tasks, any Cambridge Festival events that you're participating in. Thank you all very much indeed.
I just want to say, some people have been asking about a recording. There will be a recording on the 2022 Cambridge page later next week.
Thank you very much, Claire, for chipping in with that. Really important. Thanks. Okay, enjoy your Saturday, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.